Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yes, I know this is a late video. If you're watching this in Europe, it's what? Probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little later. 1 o'clock in the morning if you're in the UK, maybe a little later, maybe a little bit before. But this is an unplanned video. If you can see from the title and the thumbnail, a trailer has just dropped for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it's not long, it's only about a minute long. And it also gives a little bit of further information. But before I go into that, this is going to be a wee bit of a self-indulgent video. And when I say a wee bit, I mean a lot. Because a few weeks ago, I did a video about some models. You can see some behind me. The Batman one just sneaking behind those anime figures. Some models, and you really enjoyed that video. A lot of people really liked that video. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to show off some of my Final Fantasy VII figures. Not many, just a few. Otherwise this video would go on forever. But I just wanted to show off a few, because I'm a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series. Huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy X. They're my majors, they're my favourites. And so this was a perfect opportunity. So as a toxic white male, and a misogynist and all that kind of stuff, the first thing I want to show you is Ares Gainsborough, because that's what we do. We buy figures of strong gaming characters, great gaming characters, which have a special place in my heart and our hearts, not because of gender, just because they're great. Because that's what toxic white men do. But this is the Crisis Core, and this has just come out on the Play Arts Kai range. This is the Crisis Core version of Ares, which essentially is the same. And it's just beautiful. So you've got a change of head, you've got multiple changes of hands, you've got a staff. Very poseable, highly poseable, little bit of a detail there about Ares, and just such an amazing box as well. Just a beautiful box. And there's some of the little poses of her, and it's just a wonderful thing. When I saw this become available, I knew I had to have this in my collection. Ares is a great character. She's an absolutely great character, and to have her in this form, superb. But of course, if you're going to have Ares, you've got to have Cloud. Yes, this is the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Fenrir motorcycle with Cloud at the other side, and he is full size Play Arts Kai. So he's actually a full size. This is huge. Takes batteries. Ladies. Takes batteries to put the lights on, but this is unopened. I haven't opened this at all. And if I flick it around, so you can see the back, it has the section at the front which opens up, and you can have his various swords, including, of course, the famous Buster Sword. I think the Bastard Sword's in there as well, and some other great ones. And change of head again, change of gloves. This is fantastic. The reason why I wanted to show you those two first, so these are modern representations of our Final Fantasy heroes, but I have a collection of figures which have an insane place in my heart, and there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, this is it. This is the 1998 Extra Knights Final Fantasy VII range. Now, there are already 7 figures in this range. Now, first thing, obviously, I have all 7, and so that's the first. I've got the full set, which I'll show you. Don't worry. And the second major thing is that my set is completely unopened, in really good condition and completely unopened. What you tend to find when you purchase these figures is they run a knife down the plastic there, the plastic at the bottom, and the plastic on the other side, so you can actually remove the card, take the figure out, and display the figure. And then if they want to sell it, some will just slide the card back on, but the vast majority of people try and palm an offers not opened, and they slide the card back on, and then they just put a layer of sellotape over the layer that they cut. This is a single ribbon of sellotape, unopened. None of these have been opened. So this is the Vincent figure, an optional character. Remember optional characters? Yuffie and Vincent were both optional characters in Final Fantasy VII. So this is the Vincent figure. Then we have the Red 7 figure. Again, all of these completely unopened. None of these have been opened. Now this one does have a slight bit of corner damage, and there is a slight bit of yellowing from when I have had them displayed. But they, that just looks gorgeous, and they are created as close to, I think, to the FMV, to the cutscene versions of their characters. And then Cloud, classic Buster Sword there. Cloud figure looking great. Again, all unopened. Barrett with his machine gun arm. Just awesome. He's just so huge and chunky. He thick. Barrett thick. But great looking character, Barrett. And then we've got Tifa, of course. She's coming with a frog. But great. That's the classic Tifa pose as well. When you kind of think of Tifa, that's the pose that you see the most pictures out. Look at those fun. Just great. And again, unopened. All unopened. The penultimate one, Sephiroth. Sephiroth and his wonderful katana. Again, unopened. And then finally, to bring it back to the start of the figure showing, we have Ares, and she has a little chocobo with her as well. And just a wonderful, wonderful collection of figures. Really, really are. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier to have those. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to just share that with you. Right, so let's get into just having a little look. Now, first things first, when the trailer comes in, it says development footage, subject to change. And if I just shrink myself a little bit more, actually. It starts off with a text that comes in saying, the return draws closer. Now, of course, Final Fantasy VII has been development hell. I don't know if that's going to be a bit harsh to say, but I think it's probably pretty accurate. When it was announced, it seemed that it was a project that was going full throttle, and we could likely see it around the anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So then it became maybe the anniversary of the Final Fantasy franchise. So we don't know exactly when it's going to come out. But if it says the return draws closer, maybe next year, maybe 2020, would be nice to see. And it's going to be also interesting to see whether or not, and I'm going to phrase it in this manner, Square Enix have got balls. And I'll say for why. Because the characters Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, they are terrorists. Part of Avalanche, from what I can remember. It's been a while, so if I get a couple of things wrong, don't jump at me. But I think it's Avalanche, which was a terrorist organisation, and it starts off with them, I believe, trying to blow up a Mako reactor. And so whether or not they decide to stick with that storyline, and I really hope so, it's going to be very interesting, because of course we live in an age. I don't need to go on further. So we have this wonderful shot of Ares, and look at that. Look at how beautiful she is. Just beautiful, man. Absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I mean, you know, when it comes to cutscenes, FMV sequences, you're hard pressed to find somebody better than Square. You know, Blizzard, they can rival. But you know, I think those two are the likely the top of the game when it comes to those sequences. But look, just stunning. And then we have the soldiers, the regular soldiers. And then Cloud getting sorted out. This is the very first, pretty much the very first shot of the game. When the train pulls into the station and Cloud gets out, and I think Barrett walks on, from what I can remember. Maybe, maybe not. I think Cloud has to fight two soldiers. So this is pretty much the opening sequence of the game. So very nostalgic. And oh my God! Kind of like the comparison between the 1997 version and then this. It's like, wow, we have come a long way. We have come a long way in a relatively short space in time. So just really, really cool. Explosions. And this here, if you can see here, I think this is the Scorpion. I think this is the Scorpion, which is the first boss that you and Barrett, Cloud and Barrett, actually fight. I think that's the Scorpion tail. It's quite difficult to see, but I think it's the Scorpion tail. Firing off its missiles, blowing stuff up. We have other members of Avalanche and Barrett jumping over the train station barriers. You're all gonna die! Sorry. And then she turns around and she's like, hey! She says a little thing, which is rather cool. I think she's talking to Cloud, by the way. It's not fourth wall breaking. I think she's talking to Cloud. And then we have the timer of the bomb that was planted. So I think this is when you run to the Scorpion fight. I think this is where you and Barrett get to the Scorpion fight again, which is the first boss. Look at this, though. This is rather interesting because you used to just run across platforms. And there was a long platform from what I can remember in the first reactor. I think all of this is pretty much set in the opening stages. But instead of going across the opening platform, you're doing a little bit of platforming instead. So grabbing hold and then just scooching yourself across. Barrett with some gunplay, which is great. You're seeing multiple hits. And you can see here as well, Tifa, Cloud and Barrett are the party. And just hidden behind me, if I just put me up here, you can see the attacks. Triangle for backblast, square for attack, or circle for what I think is the command menu. So we see a little bit of that, and then a little bit of fighting from Cloud. So I think by the looks of it, you're going to be able to jump between characters to control in combat. Because it is going to be more action-based combat. Here's some of the character voices like Barrett. And then we've got, jeez. God, it's heartbreaking when you know. If you've not played Final Fantasy VII, I won't say anything. But if you have played Final Fantasy VII, come on, it's 21 years old. I shouldn't be doing spoilers. But look, she's just beautiful. Oh, dear, oh goodness me. Just absolutely beautiful. And she's just asking Cloud if he's all right. He's like, yeah, I'm an emo, whatever. And then she gives him a flower. The voice actress sounds very much like Pinello from Final Fantasy 13. I don't know if it is, but it sounds very Pinello-ish. But we'll see. We'll see. And then she goes and gives him a flower. Here, have a flower. Lovely flower. So it's a nice little exchange. We get to see some of the enemies that you get to fight. Just a little bit of random enemies. And then we can see Ares in the background as well. Cloud looking all super dynamic and stuff and things. A little bit more combat. And then there's Ares fighting in the background as well. And we've got Tifa, Cloud and Ares in that scrap. Then we've got another boss fight going on here. With some blocking by the looks of it. Some blocking done by Cloud. I think he can get his sword up and actually block some attacks. Some big boomage coming out of that mob. Look at the particle effects. It looks like this is going to be incredible. And then we see the scorpion tail. Again, from the first boss, the scorpion tail. Look at that. Great shot there of the scorpion boss. That's charging up, and then it fires between the pair of them, and then explodes, probably on the generator. And there's the bomb. There's the bomb that they set to blow up the reactor. So it looks like all of this is taken from early doors. Don't know if we should be concerned about that. Great. Look at the shoulder pads, by the way. The close-up of the shoulder pads on Cloud. Because it looks like they're nuts and bolts. They're actually just nuts and bolts coming out. That's the aesthetic, which is rather cute, rather cool. And then we get a little tease of Sephiroth. Not much. Don't get to see his face. But we get to see the beautiful long hair. And the back side. No, not quite. Of Sephiroth. And then, ooh, nasty, nasty man. And then the final bit of info. More to come June. More to come next month. So it's going to be really interesting to see what information we get next month. Whether or not it's just more footage. Or we get information about a possible alpha, beta, maybe? Ooh, I don't think so, but I'm just kind of holding out hope. Or, I mean, the best case scenario would be a release date. But I don't think it's going to be that. I think we're just going to get some more footage and maybe information as regards to the combat. Maybe some more about the voice acting. But I don't think too much more info. Like I said, I think it's probably coming out next year. Worst case scenario, 2021. But it's great to see that it's being pushed forward again. I was very concerned that this was a project that might end up getting scrapped. And that would have broken my wee little heart. So it's nice to see information is coming, and more information is coming next month. And, I mean, it looks wonderful. It just looks wonderful. So very excited. Very excited! So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you excited like me? Isn't it nice to be able to be excited about a game for once? And I'm trying not to be cynical. I have no cynical feelings towards this at all. None. It's all kind of like, oh, this feels right. This feels positive. So fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to next month. Looking forward to more information. So I hope you enjoyed the self-indulgent video. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.